Okay, I'm ready. Go.
So it's just catching that
Move
left,
your finger.
catching
from the
the
top and point.
So it's catching that left edge on that wide flat nose right there.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's just barely.
Yeah, where the ogive comes in. Yeah.
So just
slide it in as well.
Howdy folks! For today's video we're going back in time to about 2 years ago and talk about some 10mm hard cast loads. Roughly about 2 years ago I picked up one of the heavy 200 grain 10mm molds, the NOE 403 198 WFN, that was made with a very wide flat nose, 0.3 inches to be exact. Now when I purchased the mold, I knew that it would be pushing the limits with that huge meat plat when it came to feeding. So as soon as I picked up my mold from Al at the NOE shop, I went to work casting up a nice pile of shiny projectiles. I used a relatively hard alloy with some linotype mixed in and water dropped them. You can tell that I did the casting a few years back because I have no fancy mold guide or fancy sprue whacker. After casting, I ended up powder coating them with blue powderbythepound.com powder. After sizing them, I went to work loading them up with a similar load I had used for a different 200 grain projectile. The load I picked was 11 grains of accurate number 9 powder with the CCI large pistol magnum primer. This load's worked great for me in the past and kicks the 200 grain projectiles out about 1150-ish feet per second if I remember correctly. I was hoping it would work in my Glocks. I have a Glock 20 and a 29, but knew that it might have issues because of that super wide flat nose. And issues indeed it had. It seemed a little sporadic. Sometimes it would hiccup here and there on feeding, sometimes it would feed a whole mag flawless, but reliable, it just wasn't. I had a big pile of ammo that shot great when it fed, but didn't have a gun to shoot it in reliably. I had been tempted by a Ruger Super Red Hawk at Gunny's, one of my favorite local gun shops. I kept stopping by during my lunch breaks and kept asking to take it out of the case for me to look at. Eventually, I succumbed to temptation and ended up buying it. Since the 10mm cartridge doesn't have a rim that sticks out like traditional revolver cartridges, this one utilizes moon clips. Pass me a clip! Haha, yeah, it is a clip and not a mag. The trigger on this one isn't as smooth as my other revolvers, even my other Ruger double action revolvers. So I might need to get a trigger job to see if I can get rid of some of that trigger stacking, because I prefer to shoot my double action revolvers in double action, but it was a little bit more difficult with this revolver than all my others. Okay, shooting the Ruger Super Red Hawk 10mm and the 200 grain loads.
Yeah, before you gotta put it back in the cache.
Yeah, exactly.
You can feel it.
What do you think?
Yeah, you can definitely feel that staging on the trigger.
Yeah,
you pull it back and it catches, and then you try and pull it the rest of the way through and you jerked it.
Yeah, and that's what I was noticing too. First shots for me were I was stacking it, or the trigger stacks quite a bit.
Yeah.
Might have to get that smoothed out a little bit.
She shoots good though.
These loads are hit pretty hard too.
bench learning lesson today. It's not cycling. Yeah, if you cock the hammer, it makes it a lot easier to pull the trigger.
After shooting the Super Red Hawk for a little while, we decided to test the loads with Evan's brand new Rock Island Armory 1911, chambered in 10mm. Gonna shoot those 200 grain NOEs with Evan's new toy. It's a Rock Island Armory 10mm 1911.
Now careful with those grips, they're kind of like cheese graters right now.
Yeah.
That's why I put on my gloves.
Did you buy these grips aftermarket or did they come
No,
with
that's how it comes. This is how it comes out of the box.
What
The only
model
thing
is
that I've changed on it is this firing pin stop
Yeah.
on the inside of here. I got an aftermarket firing pin stop because I wanted one that's not got the 45-degree angle or whatever it is. This one's a flat-bottomed one.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't reduce the recoil, but it makes the recoil impulse much more comfortable.
Okay.
I switched it out and tried it, and I like it a lot better. It was worth it.
So these are the loads that were having issues in my Glock. Yeah, we'll see how they do in this thing.
You got that one? Huh. Yeah, you have to push it in because it's an aftermarket mag with that.
Cool, man. Can you get square at 100 yards with the EOTech? The metal? Your EOTech sight? Which one? The 100 yarder? Yeah. Like get the one that's sideways? Wow. I tried for that. No, just any of them. Oh yeah. You can do it. It's pretty easy with just the EOTech.
What do you think?
Okay. So those loads smack it pretty hard, and this thing shoots them very well. So I like it. I might have to get one of these things. I'm not really a fan of 1911s. Like, I like them and stuff, but this one, it shoots good. We're gonna have to shoot all my loads today.
You have two dots in there, right? Yeah, so the top dot is what you shoot at 200 and 50, 200, pull it back. Safe, and then over. Back hard. Really mean it.
Just got to put your thumb on top of the safety.
Got that spinning pretty good. I like this. I really do. Well, you guys will never guess what I just bought. So I ended up selling something in my safe and I bought this from Evan. This thing shot so well that I wanted to get one just like it, and Evan said he would just sell me his. And I don't know what he's gonna do, if he's gonna get something else, but anyways, Rock Island Armory 10mm 1911. Fed those 200 grain NOE wide flat nose bullets like a champ. So I'm really excited to have this. I'm usually not a huge fan of 1911s because of the safety that you just barely saw me fumble with. But yeah, I'll get used to it. And I really like it.